What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Undefeated Sports Talk Show. I'm Tyler Hurst, the host, as always. It's just me today. Mario, Leon, Jarvis are all busy with the holidays around. It gets busy around this time, but you know me, I'm always here. I'm the host of this show. I'm going to be here. This is my show. I control this. Today, guys, I'm just going to give you, is there anybody that can beat the Warriors? As you notice, the title is, are the Rockets contenders or pretenders? That's pretty much is, can anybody beat the Warriors, because it has looked like the Warriors were the team, or the Rockets were the team, but then all of a sudden, lately they have fallen off a cliff without Chris Paul. So what happens if Chris Paul gets injured in the playoffs? I'm going to answer that, and then I got to look at our college football, the college football bowl games. I tell you what, guys, our records are not what we expected them to be. They're actually worse. Not good so far. Before I get started, though, guys, make sure you give us a shout-out to all your friends, to your family. Do whatever you can to help us out. The more subscribers, the more followers we have, the more likes we have, the better it is for us. And then if you go to our Facebook page at Undefeated Sports Talk Show, that just gives you updates. I usually create polls there, which people vote on, and people leave comments on. We want as much interaction as we can possible. Just help us out. That's pretty much all I'm saying. But to get this started here, guys, we have to get this started with college football. The bowl games, guys, have been insane. I tell you what, from starting out with the Colorado State game, guys, it's that right there just said this college football bowl season is going to be crazy, because a majority of the U.S. picked Colorado State to win that football game. Marshall controlled that for much of the game besides the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden, Colorado State woke up. Well, it's too little too late by then. Colorado State did not play good. Then you had games like Louisiana Tech, SMU. Well, I picked SMU, along with the majority of the U.S. that I've seen. SMU got handled. They got manhandled, 51-10. And then you had games like Boise State, Oregon. People were picking the upset with Oregon, but then Boise State handled their business. You had Troy. They handled their business like most of the U.S. Thought they would. FAU just smacked, whatever you want to say, people. They just took care of business against Akron like we knew they would, because Lane Kiffin in that offense is for real. And then you had people like Temple taking care of business. Ohio, to be honest, guys, I picked UAB. I was going with the Cinderella story. UAB did not show up that game. That was an awful showing by them. I wish they would have done better. And then you had Wyoming taking care of business. USF, Texas Tech has to be one of the best bowl games so far right now. That game, I watched the entire thing. Charlie Strong and USF just kept fighting with that Big 12 football team, because the Big 12 compared to the MAC, it's totally different. So Charlie Strong and them did a great job with a great touchdown pass with a minute left in the game. That was tremendous to watch. Army surprised me beating San Diego State and Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny absolutely balled that game, did what he had to do for the NFL draft, but too much Army there. The game that kind of started it all, though, was the Toledo Appalachian State. We all thought Toledo would win. Toledo just got manhandled, 34-0. They did not put a single point on the board, and that was just an awful showing by Toledo. Because if I give you our rankings, right now Leon is in first. He is the guest on the show. He's in first. I think he's 15-14. I am currently second, tied with Jarvis. We are currently 14-15 each. And then you have Mario in last, 2 games behind me, and Jarvis at 12 and 17, I believe, if that is correct, if I did my math correctly, off the top of my head. But then still moving on with these bowl games, Fresno State took care of business against Houston. Houston tried to make that late fight, it did not work. Utah demanding win over West Virginia. We knew it was I knew it was coming. The entire group that does this show knew it was coming. Utah, with Kyle Whittingham, 11-1 in the FBS of bowl games. That is very impressive. I really liked what he has done. Duke, I thought Northern Illinois would do a little bit better than these guys. They unfortunately did not. Northern Illinois did not show up. Kansas State and UCLA. UCLA, a majority of us went UCLA, but Josh Rosen ended up not playing even though he wanted to because of that concussion. So that was unfortunate. They ended up losing that game. Florida State took care of business against SMU. Iowa, easy. I can't say easy, but they did win against Boston College by 7. That game was just cold. The guys had to switch to tennis shoes. It was at the Bronx Stadium, the New York Yankees stadium for baseball. There's the short grass guys combined with the cold that makes it hard on the players, makes it hard to keep footage with cleats, so they switched to tennis shoes. Iowa pulled that win off. Purdue, probably the second best bowl game so far that has gone on. That game was really good. Purdue with a late game-winning touchdown, an impressive touchdown too. If you guys haven't seen the video, go out and watch the Purdue. Look up the Purdue versus Arizona highlights. The guy made a catch on the dude's back and still stumbled into the end zone. Tremendous job by that Purdue wide receiver. But I got to talk about the Texas Longhorns. You guys see the flag right behind me. If once we get a green screen with more followers than that, you're no longer going to see that. You're going to see our theme in the background. But the Texas Longhorns really showed up. They did their job. And just like everybody else, they said Missouri is the hottest team in football right now. And no, they were not. No, they were not. I tell you what, it's this Texas defense, guys. What else do you want from them? They are a top 10 defense. Missouri coming into this game, last 6 games, average over 45 points a game. Texas holds them to 16. Texas coach Tom Herman mocked Drew Lock at the end of the game. Reasonable. You gonna mock the Texas team and you don't win? That's your fault. You're gonna get mocked right back. Texas took care of business in that game. Offense still has questions. Defense does not. Todd Orlando is the real deal. Navy absolutely slaughtered Virginia. That was uncalled for, but Navy took care of business. I went Navy. The rest of them went Virginia. You got to stick with Ken Niamatalolo, my dude. Remember that. You guys have heard it before. I like that guy. He continues to win. Oklahoma State took care of business with Virginia Tech. Impressive last win for Mason Rudolph. Mike Gundy is going to miss him now on. I still think Mason Rudolph is the sleeper in the NFL draft. You have to watch out for him. Michigan State slaughtered Washington State. That game was boring. I barely watched any of it because Michigan State was handling them the entire game. The game, though, so far of the bowl season, I know I was saying games earlier, and I said Purdue, that could have been the game of the year, but this one was the game of the bowl season so far, and it was TCU and Stanford. TCU, absolutely tremendous job with the comeback. I thought the game was over. I was like, oh, here we go with another boring bowl game, another blowout. No, TCU came back. If you remember about 3 years ago, TCU played in the Alamo Bowl, and TCU had to come back 30 down, and they still came back and won. Once again in the Alamo Bowl, TCU comes back and they win. We all picked Stanford because of Bryce Love. Bryce Love did end up getting injured, so that really hurts. That really hurt Stanford. But at the end of the day, if you're Stanford, you should have won that game, and TCU came back with a very impressive win. And then you have bowl games today. It is currently Friday, December 29th, excuse me. Right now, New Mexico State is up 13-10 on Utah State. Don't know how that's going to pan out right now, but on the screen beside me, if you see little flashes on my face, that's because I currently have on the Kentucky Northwestern game while I'm talking. And Northwestern's up 17-14, gearing ahead into the fourth quarter. That has a tendency to be another great bowl game. But Wake Forest and Texas A&M, guys, that game, talk about no defense. This was the game to watch if you want to watch nothing but offense. There are multiple injuries. That's not fun to watch, however. But there are multiple spectacular plays. I tell you what, I was blown away by this game. I've seen multiple great catches, especially by the Wake Forest guy. Texas A&M just could not play defense. With the freshman quarterback, you need to play defense to help him out. Wake Forest is actually better than I thought they would be. North Carolina State took care of business against Arizona State. Herm Edwards has some work to do at Arizona State, and I hope he does do that work, because otherwise I don't see Arizona State going anywhere. We all picked Arizona State for some reason. I have no idea why. I should have went North Carolina State with that defense. I ended up not, and North Carolina took care of business. And as you notice, everybody, I got the Buckeye Nation shirt on tonight because it is Friday, December 29th, and you have Ohio State playing tonight against USC in a Cotton Bowl Classic. It will be a classic. These two have played each other in the Rose Bowl. USC is 7-1 against Ohio State. This game has potential to be very good. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen. I got the Buckeyes just along with everybody else. We got Ohio State. Can't wait to see what the Bulls season has to bring to us going further. But now, guys, we have to move on to the NBA. It has been my 10 minutes to talk about college football, but the NBA, guys, has been just as good so far. There's been some surprises. Oklahoma City has woken back up. That's very good. Remember, I said they were failures last week because they just couldn't figure it out. But then all of a sudden now they have figured it out. Melo and Paul George have really found their roles in this last 2 weeks. I'm really surprised about that. And then you have teams. Give me just a second here, guys. I got my phone popping up to kind of get the standings, get everything going, get everything flowing. Otherwise, I got stats with me. But yes, I use my phone just like these professional shows do. They always use iPads and that too. So, but then yeah, you got teams like Portland Trailblazers. They're starting to fall back to earth. The Celtics are starting to fall back to earth. They're starting to lose. Celtics have now lost 5 of their last 11. So that puts Toronto in first. Or Toronto is tied with Boston for first place in the Eastern Conference, and Cleveland is a game behind them. But then you have teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've really surprised. But the real question is, who can challenge the Warriors now? Who is the team that can beat the Warriors? I want you to let me know, because I'm going to let you know right now. And then I want to hear from you. Because to me, from what I've seen with the Rockets, if Chris Paul cannot play, I don't think anybody can challenge the Warriors. Everybody wants to say the San Antonio Spurs with Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard took care of business in that game 1, but then he got injured when they were 22 up, and then the Warriors came back. Well, we're talking about a 7-game series here, guys. And in a 7-game series, do you really think the Spurs are really going to win that? And no, I do not think so. Excuse me here, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We had a dog situation. If you guys have noticed, we've had a dog on this show and had a little dog situation I had to take care of. But yeah, so everybody wants to talk about the Spurs. Not sure about the Spurs, guys. I'm not 100% on them, because if that was a 7-game series, do I think the Spurs would have won that? Do you think the Spurs would have won that game? No, I do not. And I guarantee you do not think so either. I could be very wrong, but probably not. The Warriors are just too good. They shoot the ball well. You got a Kevin Durant. Without a Steph Curry, they went on a winning streak. They are as impressive as it gets when it comes offensively. And then you got teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder could very well challenge the Warriors. Do I think they could beat them in a 7-game series? No, I do not. I don't think OKC is good enough. Russell Westbrook, he's putting up close to triple-double numbers again, excuse me. He has, I think he's somewhere around 24, 8, and 9. He's right up there. Then Paul George and Carmelo starting to find their rhythm and find their role. I don't think that's going to be enough, though, guys. OKC, they can play well at home, but they do not play well on the road. They're absolutely awful on the road. And if you get a 7-game series, you're going to have to play the Warriors on the road 4 out of the 7 games. I just don't like OKC. You got the Timberwolves. I just don't think the Timberwolves have enough. Jeff Teague's injured right now, but he'll be back for playoffs. I just don't think the Timberwolves are going to have enough to get the job done against the Warriors. I just don't think they're as good as a shooting team as the Warriors, obviously. I don't think that any team in the NBA right now is as good as a shooting team as the Warriors. If you think about anybody else, you can sit here and say Denver and New Orleans could pose a threat, but no, they're not going to pose a threat. Those two teams would get swept just like the Portland Trailblazers. So really, you just got the Thunder, the Timberwolves, the Spurs. Those teams could challenge them, but they're not going to win. The Rockets, I think, have the best chance at beating the Warriors. Here's why. Because the Rockets can shoot just as good as the Warriors. The Rockets have a bench. The Rockets have depth. They have a center that can challenge JaVale McGee. They have a shooting guard that can shoot just as well as Klay Thompson. The only issue with the Rockets is, who do you have to guard Kevin Durant? because you really don't got nobody. You can put Trevor Ariza on him. I don't think Trevor Ariza can keep up with Kevin Durant. Chris Paul, he can defend Steph Curry, so I like that matchup. I like Chris Paul against Steph Curry. They won the opening day matchup the Rockets did against the Warriors, but I just don't see the Rockets in a 7-game series winning, because in order for the Rockets to win and go on to the NBA championship, they got to make threes. Everybody knows that. The Rockets, if they make threes, no, there's pretty much going to be nobody that's going to beat the Rockets. And the Rockets without Chris Paul are not a very good basketball team. They just let up a 26-point deficit to the Celtics. James Harden had 2 offensive fouls late into the game. Unfortunate, the Rockets, though, letting up a 26-point lead. Unexcusable. Without Chris Paul, the Rockets, I believe, are 1-6. It is not good when they're without Chris Paul. But when Chris Paul is there, I believe they pose a serious threat to the Golden State Warriors. I think they could take them to a Game 7, but then you have to play Golden State, and I think Golden State wins that. But saying that, is the Rockets pretenders or contenders? That is the question that I have as the title. My answer is they are contenders, because I think they pose a threat to the Golden State Warriors, and I think they can make it to the finals if they can make threes 4 out of the 7 games. That is my answer to that question. And then at the Eastern Conference, I think everybody is seriously pretenders besides the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because, once again, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have depth, they have a bench, they've played them before, they've played them, this could be their 3rd straight year. Their 4th straight year going into the finals, and I believe it will be. And then you have LeBron James going up against Kevin Durant. That is what you need. You need size for size. Kevin Durant, I believe, is better offensively, but I think Cleveland's going to be fully healthy. And when Isaiah Thomas returns, it's going to be a whole different story, because Isaiah Thomas, he's not good defensively against Steph Curry, but I think Isaiah Thomas can score just as many points as Steph Curry. And that's what they really need. Right now, the Cavs' point guard position is 29th, 30th, and 29th in points, assists, and rebounds. That is pretty much dead last in the NBA. I think when they get Isaiah Thomas back, they're only going to be better. And I think if they can stay healthy, the Cleveland Cavaliers can beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals if they meet up. My finals predictions is obviously the Cavaliers versus the Warriors. I think the Rockets can make it there. Like I said, if they can win 4 out of the 7 games, if they can make threes. But yeah, I just don't see. The question was at the beginning of this is can anybody beat the Warriors? I do not think so, guys. I think the Warriors are just too good. Right now, they're, like I said, they're without Steph Curry. They've won 11 of their 12 games, and I just don't think anybody else can contend with the Warriors when it comes to a series of 7 and you have to play in Golden State. That's just going to be a little bit too hard. But all in all, guys, I want to hear what you guys have to say, because if I can get an answer from you guys, and I can react to that either by commenting or even by starting another live video, then as long as you tune in, you're going to get my answer. Or as long as you listen, you'll get my answer, guys, because that is what I am here to do. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Undefeated Sports Talk Show. Make sure you give us a shout-out. Make sure you get subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not. We come out with episodes every Monday, Friday. We will not be here next Monday, though, guys, because it is the college football. We will not be here this following Monday because it's New Year's Day, and we got the college football playoff. I want everybody to enjoy that game. I'm going to enjoy it myself. Have a little bit of chips and dip. Do whatever you have to do, because that is what makes it even better. And then the following Monday after that one, so a week after this following Monday, we will not be here again because that is the college football championship. And once again, I want everybody to enjoy that as well as we are going to enjoy that. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Undefeated Sports Talk. If you go over to our Facebook page at Undefeated Sports Talk Show, that is where I'm going to be live in about 5 minutes. I'm going to be giving NFL predictions and my thoughts on the NFL playoffs and what I think is going to happen after this following week. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. We're only going to come out with better, more heated conversations. Thank you guys.